WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. And you see here in front of me the Irishman Cask Strength. Here I have the 2018, here I have the 2017 version bottling. So let's open up the 17 first. I call it the coffin. Doesn't it kind of look like a coffin? Like it's vampire. Yeah. So Dracula is going to come out of there. So you have this nice little protection. You have the bottle over here. And you have a nice little thing here. It says the Irishman Rare Cask Strength. The Irish Cask Strength is Ireland's most exclusive whiskey. I did not know that. Distilled 3 times and carefully aged in individually chosen oak casks. The Irishman Cask Strength is available in strictly limited quantities, as only a few casks of the first distillates are selected each year. It is reserved for the appreciation of the most discerning judges of fine whiskey. Only 3,510, that's the 2017 version, were produced in 2017, and each is individually numbered as a guarantee of outstanding quality. Bottled at cask strength 54%, and this is the 14th of August 2017, signed Bernard Walsh. Great story, I have to admit. Bernard Walsh goes through the warehouse, picks out the barrels himself. Great thing. About 89 euros over here in Germany. Let's call it $105. The same thing happens here with our 2018, which I just opened up a moment ago in my German video. The bottles look identical except for one tiny little difference. Over here we have the same thing. It says only 3,516. So we had 3,510, which is not right because the bottle says 3,716. They made a mistake here. Ooh, Bernard, why do you have 200 more bottles here than here? I realized that. Ooh, tricky. Were produced in 2018, bottled then also at cask strength, 54%. And this is also something which is interesting. This was filled on the July 5th of 2018. So I don't know if you can read that or not. Let's see if I can put this in here. July, yeah, you can almost read it. Good. So, closing the coffins. Over here, if you look at the bottle, it actually says here, 3,716 bottled at 54%. Now, I'm going to try both of them and just compare them because I can. I have both of these bottles over here. So, and this is about 6 months old, which is really weird. Now, this is actually, for me, where I'm filming this, is probably going to be a little bit later, the middle of January 2019. This bottle just arrived in the German market. It's not even in the whiskey base. It's not even in Ireland. Somehow, they signed it in July 2018, but yet it took them over 6 months to put it onto the market. Why? Because I remember buying the 17 and 18, and now I remember buying the 19, or the 18 in 2019, which I think is not great. A second question I have, which I do not really know the answer of yet, is what's the biggest difference between the Irishman, which is a marriage, a vatting of Irish single malt whiskey, plus Irish single pot still whiskey, which means malted and unmalted barley together, compared to the Writer's Tears, which is also a marriage of cask strength 2018 version, by the way, which is also a marriage of single pot still and single Irish malt whiskey. This is 53%. This is 54%. I know this is a version of 60% single malt, 40% single pot still. I do not have the ratio here. At a tasting one day, one person did say there's a variation of 58% to 42%. Compared to 60 and 40, but what's the real difference between the two? If anyone knows, I would love to know the difference because I just don't. The bottles look different. I know this is a little bit older than that. This is, I think, the 7th bottling. I think this is the um, 9th or 8th bottling as well. So I know the Irishman Cask strength was first and the Writer's Tears came second. But I know that the box is a little bit different. We have the wood on the outside, and then, so wait a second. I will put the bottle in here so you can actually see this. So, so it goes up through this nice little hole, comes in here, turn it around a little bit so that it clicks in there, and you get this nice little box. Over here you have the coffin. I'm going to continue calling it a coffin my entire life. I'm sorry. It looks like a coffin. It even has velvet on the bottom here. Very, very nice. Has piano, little type of hinges there. Cherry wood, basically finish. Nice, nice, nice. You're paying probably an extra 20 euros just for that dumb box. All right, going to the whiskey. What I get over here, I've done this in my German video, that's why I'm rushing a little bit, is I get a little bit of burnt chocolate, burnt caramel, a little bit more of the tannins. Over here I get more of the oily butter, vanilla, floral notes, and so on. I did this blind in my German video and I got them mixed up, which means I actually presented this as the best whiskey blind, and this is the second best whiskey. I'm doing it just honestly as I can. There's not much difference between them. And the biggest difference, I would say, is probably through the oxidation. This bottle is 6 months old. It's below the bottleneck, so there's been a little bit maybe of oxidation going on there. And maybe with Irish whiskey, the oxidation process is at the very beginning not so good, but after you let it set and adjust your palate, might actually be very, very good. On the nose, this is something I prefer a little bit better. A lot of chocolate, a lot of ginger, a lot of spice, a lot of wood, a lot of oiliness. It's very, very nice. A very great marriage between the single pot still whiskey and the single malt whiskey of Ireland. And over here, it's very, very similar. Just a tiny little nuance there of a darkness, of a tannin, of a bitterness, but just minuscule. One of the things that I would want to have, if at all possible, would be an age statement. I know you're going to mix barrels up to 17, 18 years together with maybe something that's 6 or 8 years. Still, transparency is important. Therefore, Bernard Walsh or Woody or whoever else is responsible, age statements sometimes are good. I know you can't put on the label with barrels between 8 and 20 years of age, but maybe on your website you could do it. Haha! That would be transparency enough for us geeks. So if you could put it on the website, I'm happy. If it's not on the bottle label, I can live with it. I know regulation, rules, and laws. All right, so let's try this. 54%. It's not always 100% barrel proof. If I'm correct with my reading of the law, is cask strength means in Ireland 2 ABV points up or down. So that could actually be what we could say. Also, one definition of cask strength is actually the proof that it went into the barrel in America, and then of course it goes up if you're in Kentucky or in Tennessee, and it goes down if you're in Scotland. So I like both of them. But there's a tiny nuance difference here. There's a tiny little bit more of a woodiness. Maybe there's older juice in the 17 than in the 18. Would not surprise me, to be honest. I was expecting also here that they'd put out a volume of bottles, because over here they actually put out in the 2018, I think it's almost like 1,000 more than they did. This is 5,175, and I think the 17 was only 4,200. And then the 16 was 3,000, and so they've been actually going up almost 1,000 bottles a year. Over here, we went up basically just, according to the bottle, 300 bottles, 200 bottles. And that's not much. That's not even a whole cask usually. Very good, very good. So what they're using, I'm guessing this is a batch of about between 10 and 12 casks. I'm going to go for 12 casks. It might be a little bit more. Who knows? Oh, spiciness. Chocolateness. That's ginger and the spices, that pot still spices. This is an excellent whiskey. Thank you very much, Bernard, for choosing these casks. Moving back to the last year's. Also very nice. I think I know the problem. Has to do with temperature. Oh, this is really good. Unfortunately, this bottle was a little bit cooler than this bottle originally when I did my German video. In the meanwhile, it's had the chance to warm up, and everything's at the same room temperature. And the warmer this gets, the better it becomes. This 17 is really fantastic. The 18 is great. I'm going to give this an A-, this an A-. Value for money over here, as I said, 90 euros. I think I bought this for 87. I bought this for 89. Inflation, who knows? I'm still going to give it a solid C. If you love cask strength Irish whiskey, there's not much out there except for the things being produced here by, for example, Walsh Whiskey. Be very careful. I just did something from Penderyn, Welsh, W-E-L-S-H, and Walsh, W-A-L-S-H. You can't do anything about your last name. You can't change it. And so Walsh Whiskey with its Irishman, it's very nice. 17, I would say, is a tad better than the 18 due to the older stock, which I assume is in there. Still good. Still an A-, which is in my book fabulous. What I did in my German video, which I should do in my English video as well, is to actually put a little bit of water in there, try that then, and then give my final evaluation. So I would say about 7 drops each. Swirl, and it's interesting. This has more of an alcohol note now with the water, and this has more of a chocolatey, oily note. The 17 is really nice, but it has to, of course, be room temperature, Jason. I should know that. It's good. It's very good, but this is a tad better. Tiny little movements in there. Even towards the end, I would actually go up. And it's not often I go up towards the end because of that finish. Excellent whiskey. It's a very solid A-. If you can get your hands on one of the 3,716 bottles, I'm reading from the box still. Please do. You will not be disappointed. If you can get the 17 bottle, please buy that. You'll be even less disappointed. Very good. Oh, there's a little bit of older stuff in there. Very nice. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, with 2 questions. Question number 1. What is the difference between the Irishman Walsh Whiskey Distillery and the Writer's Tears Walsh Whiskey Distillery? Both of them a marriage of single pot still Irish whiskey and single malt Irish whiskey. Is it only the percentage? What is the main difference? Second of all, my question is, what is your favorite Irish cask strength whiskey? So I have some independent bottles over there from Ireland. Oh, those are great. From www.irish-whiskey.de, from Mareike Spitzer. She has her own website over here in Germany. She has her own label, which is called Black Rock. And if you can, any of them, especially number 4, batch number 5, no, number 3, number 4, number 6, number 2 and number 5 were grain whiskeys. Great, but still number 3, number 4, and number 6 are much better. Very, very good stuff. Wow. All right, thank you very much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please tell others about this crazy American and Germany tasting rare and exotic Irish whiskey, and a lot of it, and enjoying it very, very much. Thank you very much. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, my videos come out. Bye-bye.